Good afternoon. How are we all today? Today I am talking to you about the 3 ways to build efficiency into your business. And these are 3 things that I am seeing time and time again where businesses and business owners are missing ways in which they can effectively run a business that is efficient and effective and ultimately will end up being more profitable. And the first number 1 is down to your time management. So I have been recently working with a client who had been, one of the things they felt was the feeling of overwhelm. We've all been there as business owners where we feel overwhelmed, we feel stressed to the point where we end up procrastinating and nothing gets done. And there is an element which relates to mindset in relation to that, but there is also aspects that relate to the practical side, which is time management. And one of the things that we sat down and did is we set down a list of all of the things that he needed to do, but more importantly, I asked him to look at the list as to whether there was anything that he didn't need to do himself, which leads me into number 2, which is delegation. Because ultimately, if you have things that you can delegate to a team, and that ultimately they can be trained on to do it in the way that you need them to do it. Now, one of the things that often flags up when I speak to business owners regarding delegating tasks, it's like, well, they don't do it as good as me. It's like, well, the only way in which they will do it as good as you is if you train them on how to. And this then leads me into number 3. And number 3 is all about your systems and your processes and having those processes documented. So all 3 things in terms of improving the efficiency and building the efficiency into your business, they all tie together. So when you have your time management, noticing within your tasks, are they things that you can potentially delegate? Those things that you can delegate, can they then be documented into a process so that your team know exactly how to do that particular task? Now, going back again to the whole time management is, how can you schedule your time? So one of the things that I teach all of my clients is about power hour. So for example, when I'm working with people on my online program, one of the things that I ask them to commit to is an hour per day where they are sitting and working on their business and working on the program, whether that's homework I've given them, whether it's sitting there watching the lessons and implementing. And what they need to make sure is that power hour is where they do not have any distractions. So they don't have their phone on, or it's on silent, their emails are closed down, and basically, unless the building is on fire, they are not disturbed by their team, so that they have that 1 hour to focus on their business. So allocate that in your diary. That's one of the additional bonus tip I'm going to give you, is allocate a power hour in your diary to be able to do, whether it's a case of working on your business or whether you have a specific project that needs working on and you're in a position where you are struggling to find the time, is allocate a power hour per day to be able to work on that project, and you do not do anything else within that time frame. At the end of the day, your time management is key, and making sure that you create a schedule in terms of the things that you need to do. So by having that to-do list, working out what is a necessity out of that list, what has to be done, because this is something else I see so many times where we are doing tasks that actually aren't even important. So there's this whole framework of important, urgent, or urgent, not important, or not urgent, not important, or not urgent and important. If I think I've got all 4, and excuse the dog barking, bear with me 1 second. So say hello, Fitz. So this is where it's important that when you're creating that to-do list, really focus on what is urgent, what is important, and making sure that whatever you can, you then delegate. And if you are worried, as I say, in terms of that, when you delegate it, it won't be done properly, that is then on your responsibility to ensure that member of staff is trained properly on how to do that particular task. So create a set process for it. Create your standard operating procedures, your SOPs, because that way then, if you have documented all of your processes, and you don't need to do it all overnight, but bit by bit, you document your processes. I tell you now, it's a lot easier when you recruit new people, because when they come on board, you've got your manual there and they can easily be trained. So ultimately, the 3 ways to build efficiency into your business is 1, time management, 2, delegation, and 3, creating and documenting your processes. So I hope today you've got some real value. And obviously, if you want help in any one of those things, or even all of it, then you know what you need to do. You need to book in for a strategy session or a business health check. And I can tell you, we can be able to get your business ready for 2024 so that you can absolutely skyrocket in terms of what your goals are, and making sure that you are as profitable and as efficient as you possibly can be. So you know what you got to do. Thank you guys for listening, and I will see you all very soon.